Hello and welcome back to Football Now, a new YouTube football channel where we will be previewing all of the Premier League fixtures from this weekend's round of fixtures, running you through the betting odds and giving our own predictions. Before we go into the game today, I want to remind everyone of the ongoing competition we've got going on here at Football Now. Win a football shirt of your choice, as it says there. You've got to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on this video with your score prediction for this particular game, which we're focusing on, but all of the others that we've done so far and will be doing moving forward, both this weekend and all the weekends in front until we do hit that 100 subscriber mark. The announcement will come. We will pick one lucky winner from the comment section. So the more you comment, the more predictions you give, the more likely you are to be that winner to win a football shirt of your choice. This particular video will be focusing on Bournemouth versus Arsenal down on the south coast at 3 o'clock on Saturday. I'm joined by Connor, who is an Arsenal fan. I'm sure you will know if you've seen the other videos. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Brad.
Very good. I'm sure you'll be hoping for a positive result this weekend. Before we get into it, do you want to run us through those betting odds, which are on screen now?
Yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, Arsenal are heavy favourites. They're 13 to 25, so you pretty much 1 to 2. Bournemouth 11 to 2. 5.5 to 1. Is there any value in there? I don't think so. I think Arsenal would look pretty comfortable. I think it's strange really to assess Bournemouth's season because if we just have a look at the league table, their aim is to survive in the Premier League, and they are outside the relegation zone. And pretty much that's because the three teams that have come up have only got 1 point apiece. But if you look back at Bournemouth's recent results, I mean, there should be a bit of positive momentum there because they won last time out in the cup, beat Stoke 2-0 at home. Before that, last week in the Premier League, lost 3-1 to Brighton and the MX. But there's no shame in that. I actually thought the first half, particularly, they played quite well there. But then Brighton in the second half, which is a different team, and really turned it on. 0-0 draw against Chelsea. It's okay. Very, very nearly beat Brentford at the G-Tech as well, but late equaliser there. So, if things are just kind of a little bit differently, we could have a few more points on the board. But yeah, they've been okay. From where they would expect to be and what their aim is, they've been okay. But I think when it comes to these real tough games, I don't think that they have enough in attack or defense really to contain these teams like Arsenal at the top end of the table, which is okay because the season's not going to be defined on these games. However, and I'm sure you'll touch on this as well, if there is going to be any positive news for Bournemouth, is that Arsenal are in the midst of an injury crisis. We know Timber's out long term, Partey's out long term as well. Martinelli's out, got injured against Everton. We've got Trossard, who's a doubt. We've got Saka, who Mikel Arteta said he's probably going to miss the Bournemouth game. Chance he could come back, but he's probably going to miss it. I've just brought him in FPL as well. That's good. And Rice was also taken off last time out in the North London derby. Speaking of that North London derby, I don't think we played that well. I think that was probably one of our poorest games, which I guess is a testament to Arsenal because Tottenham have an amazing season that they played well. Arsenal, I don't think did play well, and it was still 2-2. We didn't lose. But I think Rice going off in that game really derailed Arsenal. Jorginho had about 30 seconds to get rid of the ball and didn't do it, and then hands Tottenham an equaliser just after we'd scored. But yeah, I think Arsenal are in fifth position. They got 14 points. It's a decent start to the season. I don't think Arsenal are in a title challenge. I think when Mikel Arteta came in, he had a 5-stage plan, and we were ahead of that plan last season. So I think to expect us to that to be the benchmark going after the title is a little bit too premature. I think if we can get just a little bit higher there and get in the Champions League places, then we can get Champions League comfortably again. I think that would be a result. We are unbeaten still, so. Yeah, it's okay for Arsenal. I don't think it's been outstanding, but I don't think this is a game that will trouble them. So I think Arsenal will be relatively comfortable. I'd like Arsenal to score a few more goals. You see there, 11 goals there, which is less than all of the teams above them by quite a margin. But defensively, they've only shipped 5. 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
and oh, I'm hearing an echo. I don't want to hear myself speak. I'm the worst person you want to hear speak. But yeah, being interesting because I think that there's a lot of experimentation at Arsenal. Obviously, with Rye coming in, I think from Bournemouth's point of view, mentioned before, I think at the moment they're fortunate that there's three worst teams beneath them. I think the teams have come up this season from the Championship, probably the three, collectively, the three poorest sides so far to have come up from the Championship. So, yeah, I don't think Bournemouth will be having too high hopes for this game.
No, you've mentioned they've had 2 wins this season. Both of them have come in the cup. They've been unfortunate, like you say, the late equaliser against Brentford and the Chelsea game was both sides had chances. You never know. Another day, one of them could go in, and they could end up coming away with 3 points there. You've mentioned the injuries for Arsenal. I'm just looking at Bournemouth here. And Dominic Solanke, I think, is facing a late fitness test. I think you'd say if they were to get anything from this game, they need him back. He's been the goal scorer this season. He's got a couple of goals already to his name. I think where are they in the league? How many points be on Bournemouth?
3 points.
They're on the 3 points from the 3 draws to West Ham, to Brentford, and to Chelsea. 2 of them came at home. Sound like a broken record, but we've mentioned this so many times now how important the home games are. If you are to stay up, I think Bournemouth do need to start picking up some points now. I think for their own sake. Like you said, there are 3 sides below them who haven't been great, but it's great having that. But you need to be taking advantage of that yourself. As for Arsenal, I know you said there you don't think they're in a title race, but I think most people, just because of what happened last season, they will be seeing them as one of the nearest challengers to Manchester City. If you are to mount that title challenge, it's crucial you get a win here, right? Obviously, you dropped points against Fulham and then obviously Spurs last time out, and with City, a draw feels like a loss these seasons now.
It does, yes, especially this season because City have been absolutely perfect. I mean, the only game that they've lost has been in the League Cup, which draws the attention to away for are they going to do the quadruple? At least it ends that conversation. It almost takes away a potential distraction for them.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, since the derby about whether Arsenal are getting too carried away with it early on. I think Gary Neville spoke about how they celebrated the second goal at the Emirates only to concede about a minute later. What do you make of all that? I always talk about them being inexperienced and not almost celebrating too early on.
Pardon my French, it's a load of bollocks. It really is. I cannot stand people. I put Richard Keys in the same category. I cannot stand people who criticize a team celebrating a goal. That's what football is about. It's about the passion. It's a North London derby, and you've just gone ahead. I don't think we were celebrating in the 60th minute mark because we thought we'd won the game, but we've just scored the goals against our biggest rivals, and you can't celebrate. How is it that Gary Neville and Richard Keys and all these other people can determine when a team can and can't celebrate? I mean, it's ridiculous. I remember last season, Arsenal got a very, very late winner against Bournemouth. We was losing that match, and then right at the end, the last minute, when we was in a title race, we scored, and people were saying, what are they doing celebrating? It's only Bournemouth. It's like, if you have 11 robots on the field who do not show any passion whatsoever, then it's not going to be a game that you can watch and enjoy. And it really gets me up. And I don't just mean when Arsenal score. I mean, when any team score and these people jump on the bat, it really grinds my gears because in football, you experience a lot of lows. Now, if you don't allow yourself to enjoy the highs, then what is the point in celebrating football? I hate the celebration piece. I think it's one of the worst things in football. It really is. I remember actually in his pre-match press conference, Ange Postecoglou, it was asked about whether Tottenham can get the hopes up, and should Tottenham sort of temper the expectation of the fans? And I think Ange Postecoglou gave a fabulous response, and he says, "No, let them believe, let them dream. It's not my job to put a downer on it. Let them enjoy the ride, and that's what football should be." So. I think Neville needs, I think he's always had something in Arsenal, something against Arsenal. But yeah, it's people don't like to see other people having a good time in football. It's what it's about. I don't get it. I do not get it.
Yeah, that's why we're all there, and it's just to enjoy the moment. Otherwise, what's the point in turning up? Having said that, I mentioned in the last video, we've got a head-to-head competition going on here of our own predictions. 3 points for the correct scoreline, just the 1 point if you get the right result. I'm ahead after the first couple of weeks now. Connor's hoping to pull it back here. Do you want to run us through your prediction for this game? I've got a feeling where you're going to go, but
yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I don't think there's anything to suggest that Bournemouth will get anything, but I think it's tough actually. I don't think it'll be straightforward. I think Bournemouth will frustrate Arsenal. I'm going to go with 2-0 Arsenal. But for Bournemouth, it is a bit of a free roll actually. I'm looking at Bournemouth's next few fixtures, and you've got Everton, Wolves, and Burnley. So those are the games that they've got to be picking up, and those are the games where they've got to be turning those draws into wins. Points aren't enough in those games. So I don't think this game really is going to mentally affect them too much unless they get a real hammering. But yeah, those are the games we'll be focusing on the next 3 games. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 Arsenal victory. And a crucial game for Arsenal, crucial game for both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal. I'm just looking at Arsenal's fixtures. Obviously, you've got this game this weekend, then Lens away in the Champions League, and then you have got Man City at home. I think it's crucial you go in to that game keeping the gap as small between the two sides as possible. You've got quite a difficult run of fixtures after Chelsea away. You never know with them, do you? But
come on, bring them.
Yeah, Sevilla away, Sheffield United at home, West Ham away, Newcastle away coming up. So I think, like you said, it's important you get the 3 points this weekend. I'm going to go 3-0 to Arsenal away. Tempted to go 3-1, but I'm going to go 3-0. And that concludes our preview of the game this Saturday, Bournemouth versus Arsenal, 3 o'clock at the Vitality Stadium. Before we sign out and move on to the next video, I want to remind everyone of the ongoing competition we've got going on here at Football Now. When you're, you says there, win a football shirt of your own choice. You've got to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, not just on this video and all the other videos. We're doing this weekend and what we've done in the past and what we will do in the future until we hit the 100 subscriber mark. Follow us on Twitter as well on our social medias, and the announcement will come once we do hit 100 subscribers. Good luck to everyone who gets involved. Like I said, the more involved you are, the more likely you are to be pulled out as the winner. So there we go. That concludes Bournemouth versus Arsenal. On to the next video now.